Go ahead and cue.
Alright, so just tell your story behind meeting Anthony and the invitation, and then Anthony's process to coming through Christ at DNOW, and just share your story behind that.
I first met Anthony, let's see, I guess it's a little over a year ago, and the reason why I met him is that we played in a cover country music band together. And so I played drums and he played guitar. And when I first met him, I liked him a lot, but I knew that he was nuts. And I knew for a fact that he wasn't a Christian. And I don't know, we just seemed to get along, even though just the way that he viewed things was a lot different than me. So one day I get a text, it was a Sunday, it was in the middle of church, I get a text from Anthony and says, "Hey man, where do you go to church?" And so since I'm at the middle of church, I didn't text him back, and I had a big test on Monday morning. And so right after church I went to the library and started studying and totally forgot to text him back. So I get back home probably like 12:31 in the morning, and I try to go to bed. I just cannot sleep at all. All I can think of is how I didn't text Anthony back. And I really believe that was the Holy Spirit telling me that I need to get in contact with Anthony. And it was so weird because I tried everything to fall asleep. And I was like, why can't I fall asleep? So finally I just prayed for Anthony. I didn't know what to say or do, so I just prayed that whatever he's going through, that if I could help him, that I would. And as soon as I got done praying, I fell asleep immediately. And then so the next morning after my test, I give Anthony a call, and I said, "Hey man, sorry I didn't call you back or anything like that. I go to Calvary Baptist, and it so happened that DNOW was coming up this past week, or this weekend. And so I don't know, a guy like Anthony at that stage of his life, he was not the kind of person you would want to invite to church. But I just felt that I needed to, so I invited him to DNOW, and he said yes immediately. I was really shocked because I've even invited friends to DNOW before that they say they're Christians, and they said that they don't have time for that. So I was like, why would a non-Christian want to come to a weekend event? So I got really excited. I told my mom, and my mom, she's like a prayer warrior. So she started praying, I started praying. She's in a women's Bible study group. They all started praying for somebody that they didn't even know. And so Friday rolls around, and I'm really nervous because I was like, oh, it's going to be so easy for Anthony to call me and cancel.
When Friday rolled around. Start with when Friday rolled around, the light flickered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Friday rolls around, and I'm thinking, man, I'm really nervous. I hope Anthony comes, because it would be so easy for him to just call me and say, "Hey man, I don't feel like coming." So I was just praying all Friday that that God would lead him to church. And I see him. He walks through those doors. I give him a real big hug, and I was like, man, I'm so glad you're here. So I was really excited, and I was playing drums, so I couldn't sit with him during the whole worship time, and so I introduced him to a couple of people so that he would feel welcome. And during the whole time at DNOW, I was a leader for our group home, and the whole time I really tried to, Anthony was just on my mind the whole time, just in prayer and thought, because I knew that he needed Christ. And so as the weekend goes on, Saturday night rolls around, and we had the sex slavery skits. And so I was with my group, and Anthony was in another group. But then I saw Anthony's group, and Anthony wasn't there. So I was like, where did he go? So it kind of made me a little nervous because I had no idea. So after that night session, we head back to our group house, and I was like, "Hey Anthony, where'd you go?" And he told me. He was like, "Man, I got lost from my group and went to the gym and started praying the whole time while y'all were doing all that." I was like, "Oh wow, that's great." So I could tell that something stirred him up, because I could tell something was a little different in him. And so after we had our little Bible study that night, me and him shared a room, and we just started talking, and this is 3:34 in the morning. We were just talking about everything. And then he shared with me that this was his last chance of life. And last year's theme of DNOW was One Life Matters. And immediately I felt the Holy Spirit. I knew what I needed to do. I knew that I needed to present the gospel, because if I didn't, I would never forgive myself. So I did. And I don't know what correct words to say. I just let Christ speak through me. And he prayed that early morning to receive Christ. I mean, we were so excited. We wanted to wake up the whole house and run around the neighborhood yelling. But just to see how God can change someone's life. And to think about, if I didn't invite Anthony, where he would be. Because there would be a very good possibility that he wouldn't be here. So